Hello my friends, welcome back. In the last video, I invited everyone to develop an image of a compassionate being. So this being may be like a human, or this being may be like a spirit, or this being may be like some elements in nature. Have you been hanging out with your compassionate being? So in this video, I'm going to introduce to you what you can do with your compassionate being, how this compassionate being could be helpful and supportive to you in the context of letting go or in the context of hoarding. So let's begin by finding a comfortable place to sit down. And as I talked about a few times in the past, that comfortable can mean so many different things. It can mean like taking your mind away, kind of soothing comfortableness, or it can be a place that you feel supported and safe enough to explore something uncomfortable. And it's the second kind of comfortable place that I would like you to sit. So look at your physical surrounding. Is there a spot that's available to you, or something close to that nature that's accessible to you today? Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so when you find that spot and sit down, let's begin. So sit down with your back upright. Imagine a string pulling your head up, and if you want, you can also try to align your ears with your shoulders so that you are not hunching over or going backwards. Okay, so try to find an upright position to sit. And now let's bring our attention and awareness to our breath. One more deep breath in and out. As you take a few more deep breaths in and out, gently allow your eyes to be closed or your gaze looking down. And continue to take deep breaths. Now I would like you to bring to mind an occasion, maybe an occasion that happened just today, this week, that you thought about going through some of the things, the physical things in your home environment. Bring to mind a scenario like that. When you are thinking about, oh, I should do that. And notice how you feel as this thought arises. Is there tension? Is there inclination to turn away from it? See if you can let yourself stay there in just that thought for a little longer. And see if you can now, at the same time, imagine your compassionate being, your compassionate friend arrives right here in this moment as you are thinking about the idea of going through some things. Imagine this imaginary being, ideal, compassionate being. It can be somebody that you know in your personal life, somebody you know of, something you just simply made up, or something from the nature, such as an old tree, an ocean, the mountains, a creek, like what we talked about in the last video. Imagine this being is here with you as you hold your attention to the thought about going through some things and potentially getting rid of some things. Imagine this being is here with you, non-judgmental, just curious, open, kind, and committed to be here with you and support you, however way you would be supported. Imagine sitting with the presence of this compassionate being. Can you allow yourself to open up a little bit more, or turn toward the uncomfortable feelings related to the idea of letting go a tiny little bit more? See if you can try to taste these uncomfortable feelings. Yes, taste, just like you are eating something. Eating something you have never had before. You have no names to call the feelings or the flavors. It's just pure sensations and sensational experiences. See if you can experience these quote-unquote uncomfortable feelings in this way, like you are tasting them in the presence of your compassionate self, compassionate being, compassionate friend, who is just here to be with you. when you spend some time with these feelings, if thoughts arise, you may have names for some of these feelings, such as fear, such as anger, such as guilt, such as grief, such as anxiety, such as shame. See if you can let yourself feel those feelings a little bit more. And if you have the worry, which many people have, that the worry goes, if I let myself feel the feelings, I may get stuck in them and become too depressed and never come out of it. If that's your concern, let me reassure you, it actually works the opposite ways. If you see your feelings are just like food that you've eaten, if you let them sit undigested, that's when they start to give you troubles. And actually what you are doing right now with the presence of your compassionate being is actually digesting them, so that bit by bit these uncomfortable feelings can be digested and go to places they need to go to. So let yourself be surrounded, be held by your compassionate being. If it was a tree, imagine this compassionate tree having your back, giving you a hug. If this was a spiritual leader, such as the Dalai Lama or Mother Teresa, imagine these compassionate human beings sit right in front of you or right next to you as you feel these feelings and tell them about these feelings. The fear of making mistakes, the fear of getting overwhelmed once you open the boxes, the unreadiness to let go and experience grief, the unreadiness to let go and let loose the grip of control. The shame about having this issue in the first place. The guilt for not having done more or better. Let yourself tell your stories to this compassionate being who is here to listen with no judgment, and even with no advice, just simply listening, simply giving you empathy and understanding. This compassionate being understands where these feelings and thoughts and beliefs have come from. Imagine they know your upbringing. They know how you grew up. They know the causes and conditions that have been present in different parts, different stages of your life. Imagine they think this all makes perfect sense. Of course you feel scared. Of course, this is so tremendously hard for you. Of course. Imagine being held with understanding. And stay here. You're actually doing a very difficult job right this moment. Allow yourself to stay here, experiencing these difficult emotions with the presence of your compassionate being. This is actually one of the most difficult and most important work that you can do to help with the hoarding situation. If a part of you is whispering, well, I'd rather use this time to do something physically decluttering related stuff. Yeah, that's an option. And if that's an option that's available and doable right this moment, please go ahead and do it right now. However, if hearing me say please do it right now, you feel maybe I'll do it tomorrow, then let's spend this time to do the emotional work. To do the emotional work. Because you will need this courage tomorrow when you get up and try to confront it. So let's practice to be with these uncomfortable feelings right now. Let your compassionate being stay with you, sit here with you, hold you in these uncomfortable feelings. The fear, the guilt, the grief. Let yourself feel it. And maybe today, the way it turns out for you is that you can be in touch with those feelings just for 2 seconds, that's great. That's progress. And maybe next time you can let those feelings remind you of some situations, remind you of some memories. That's great. That's also part of the emotional digestion process. So wherever you are in this digestion process, you're making progress. Just keep going. Whenever you feel fear, alright, let's face it with the presence of this compassionate being. They are gonna be here if you call and summon them. And the purpose of them being here is, like I said in the beginning of the exercise, is to provide you with a supportive and quote-unquote comfortable situation for you to be in touch with uncomfortable feelings. So I hope this exercise finds you well and supports your journey.